Welcome to Podsongs, where we interview inspirational people in service to others as inspiration for a new song. Today's guest is Rick Beato, American YouTube personality, musician and producer. And my musical collaborator is singer-songwriter Michael Lane. Hello, Michael. Welcome to Podsongs.
Hey, what's up, man?
It's great to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too.
Whereabouts are you today?
Coming out of Bavaria.
Bavaria.
Yeah, Germany.
International, but you sound American.
Yeah. I grew up most of my life in America, in a small town called Green Bay.
Okay, so we do have a lot of American listeners. So,
Oh, nice.
In
Okay.
Wisconsin, yeah.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Growing up in Wisconsin?
Yeah. Which do you prefer, Bavaria or Wisconsin? Obviously, where you are now.
Yeah, I mean, when I was 6, my mom moved to the States, and we moved around a lot. We never really settled in one spot. But in Germany, I always felt like it was my home because it was where I was born, and I have my grandparents here, and they've been here all their lives. And from my mom's side of the family, it's a pretty big family.
But you sing in English.
So, yeah. I mean, my English is better than my German. In German, I have a little English accent, but it's not the other way around. So I don't have a German English accent.
Do you ever sing in German?
No. I don't even try. It's weird. I'm doing this thing now where I'm releasing a song every 6 weeks, starting the end of this month. So I'll be releasing a single every 6 weeks. It's a strategy my label manager and I came up with. He thought it would be a good idea, so we're just trying it out. It worked out in the past.
For the algorithm, they like that it comes this sort of cycle. I studied with Band Builder Academy, and they said that was the perfect cycle as well. So, and you produce all the songs yourself?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what sort of things are you writing about?
Just things that inspire me in my everyday life, basically, like family and just keeping it real and chilling and stuff like that.
Have you done anything like this before? Have you written to task like this before?
Written to what?
Written for someone else, written to order, shall we say?
Oh yeah. I mean, I do a lot of stuff on Sound Better. I'm not sure if you've heard of it.
No, what's that?
Sound Better? You've never heard of Sound Better?
No,
it's like a service where producers and songwriters, they can basically just pay other singers. Like if a producer needs a singer, he can find a singer on Sound Better, and it's like a way to get paid. It's like a collaboration type platform. Singers can find producers can find singers, stuff like that.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't. I've heard of a few other ones, but I haven't ever gone down that road. No. So, and you wanted to interview Rick because what particularly inspired you about Rick Beato?
So if I have to be honest, I'd say the video with his son and the Pitch Perfect thing.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's insane.
We're going to go deep into that, but yeah. What a dad. Do you wish he was your father?
Yeah, sure.
I do. Yeah, I wish.
Yeah, because I mean, I use Dad's studio, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a nice studio.
Yeah.
See in the background of his videos, so.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
I really want to ask him about how that came to be, like how he got the idea to do that. And I mean, I know classical music is good. Everyone says it's good for babies and fetuses, but I didn't know that the results were that dramatic.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because he when he was growing up and he was learning, he had these learning difficulties. So maybe he just wanted to compensate and create the super child, which he did.
Yeah. I mean, I thought maybe it's because of, there's like autistic kids that have like some sort of special. That's the first thing that came to my mind is is he some sort of Wunderkind or something?
Yeah. I thought it was reincarnation. I thought he was a composer in the last life. But it
Who
turns out,
knows?
yeah.
You never know.
Maybe all three.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's been doing this. He's been doing this channel for quite a while. But you really see that he's been in the business a long time now. He's super professional on it.
Yeah. I mean, his YouTube channel is it's pretty nice. I skimmed through a lot of his videos, and he's got a lot of good material on there.
Yeah, you see a lot of influencers and people, that want to start a channel and they kind of wing it really, but he's got those years of being a session musician and working in the industry and, being in a band. He's done everything, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some of the artists he's worked with, and it's pretty impressive for sure.
Yeah. And he doesn't have perfect pitch, but he taught himself. He does these exercises every day to do his, so he can hear any note and say what it is. And
is that what perfect pitch is? Like hearing a note and being able to know what it is, what note it is?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Or being able to sing it back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was listening.
I mean, I think for me that's easy. Like to hear a note and sing it back.
No, and say that's a B. That's an A sharp. That's a B sharp.
But I can't do that. Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
No.
What his son Dylan does in the videos, as you've seen, is he'll play a whole chord of 5 or 6 or 7 notes, and the kid can say all the notes together.
Yeah, and like write them on a whiteboard.
Yeah. That's incredible. And he can say it's not just that, but he can go also. He's learned Chinese, and he speaks German. This kid. He studied German as well. Yeah.
Jeez.
And he can memorize pi number, 500 digits or something like that.
Jeez.
At 6 or 7 or whatever.
It's a genius.
He's just got this neural plasticity from listening to this music. So it's incredible.
You think it comes from the music?
Yeah. Because he had these. He put when his wife was pregnant, he put the speakers on her chest and played the. He calls it complex information pieces, information full music, many notes. Those complex music. Many notes,
like scales and stuff.
No, classical pieces. Like Rachmaninoff or whatever. And
okay.
Really informational. And he's put it all into an app as well. So anyone around the world now can have a super child. Yeah. All you got to do is just get it to listen to classical music for 2 years, subliminally, when its brain's growing, and then all these connections between in the grey cells become supercharged. And so when it comes to learning a language or remembering or studying, super kid,
I mean, I definitely believe in that. I mean, when my son was still in the belly, we'd also have him listen to music. I mean, not directly putting a speaker on the belly per se, but I mean, they have an ear. I mean, they can hear stuff without having to, put a speaker on the belly or something. I mean, we used to listen to a lot of music together, and when I was doing concerts before Corona, there's no more concerts right now, obviously. But I would bring my little guy on stage and have him sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Yeah, and like he also has he's got a pretty good ear. I mean, he sings it in perfect pitch, and I mean, we don't do a lot of singing together. I mean, he knows his and I think kids I'd give what do you call it? I have people come into my studio for lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Like I give singing lessons and stuff, and I have kids, and they've like you sing. Okay, can you sing this note la? And they'll be like la. You know, they don't have an ear for it.
Mm.
So I mean, it makes me wonder like, how is that possible that some children have a ear for pitch and others don't have an ear for pitch? I don't get it. I mean, it can't be the fact that the parents listened to music or didn't listen to music in the when the baby was a fetus. I can't imagine that would be the thing.
Well, there we go. We've got an expert coming on in a minute, so we can ask, because
That's definitely something I would love to get into. Yeah,
I think it's
sure.
what he said. One in 10,000 kids has perfect pitch, and I'm not sure if you can lose it. He did a whole video about that, but yeah, we're going to learn a lot.
Yeah,
I'm just worried. I don't know. He's
very interesting.
I'm just worried that when we write the song for him, because he's critiquing jot songs for a living. So this is a lot of pressure for us, Michael. I mean,
no worries.
He's going to go into details about every chord you play. So I think I might just leave a lot of that to you.
Sure. I mean, I have auto tune, so I'm sure there'll be perfect pitch throughout the whole song.
Yeah, well, he hates auto tune. Yeah, he's done whole videos about that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's maybe something to get into.
Yeah, no auto tune on this track, I'm afraid.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah, I think he's a bit into the old, like he is approaching 60, so
okay.
dad rock is sort of, he likes Peter Frampton and classical.
Okay.
Classic rocks and stuff, so that's not really our genre, I'm sure. So I think we just do it to please ourselves, and then don't try and please the audience, because otherwise you end up pleasing no one, I think.
True story.
So he should be coming on any minute.
All right. The suspense is rising.
Yeah. He's probably already made a few videos this morning. What have you been up to today? How's quarantine been teaching you, treating you?
It's been teaching me too. It's been teaching me. It's been treating me. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I can still do a lot of stuff in the studio because I live from music. I don't have any other job.
Wow.
So like most of the money I make is from concerts, and I also DJ at weddings, sing at private parties, and corporate events and stuff like that. Basically anything I can do to make money with music. Give lessons, singing lessons, guitar lessons.
Wow.
And a lot of that stuff you can still do besides like the whole singing live thing. You know what I mean?
Through Zoom.
Events.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it must have blown a hole in your life. Yeah, you have to.
It blew a hole in my finances.
Yeah.
But we've kept afloat, so I'm thankful for that. I mean, I'm sure some are worse than others. So is there like a deadline for this producing the song, or
pretty flexible?
Okay. In what kind of style? Can I just do it like the folky style I've been
doing? That was lovely. I mean, that was fantastic.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you did have some synth beats underneath, didn't you? Some you have had some bigger production underneath. No, this is acoustic with Beato, with a synth.
Yeah.
I love those acoustic guitars, and so we can both write a song afterwards, see what we come up with, and
yeah, sure.
And then go with one or both of them, probably just one of them, and it's all merge them. Sometimes we merge them. Sometimes it's take a middle of one and the lyrics of one and the melody of another.
I was thinking we could Like, I mean, is the song about him personally?
No, not usually.
Okay.
I think it's going to be I think the idea would be about learning because,
Ah, okay.
yeah, I think because he had learning difficulties, he's teaching his son he's taught him this is the way to learn. So maybe it's something about how learning is you limit yourself with your learning, really. If you really, well, obviously headphones on the belly help, but
Yeah.
he overcame his learning difficulties. And so maybe that's sort of an uplifting, overcome, learn. Yeah,
That's cool.
but not a biography.
I like that.
No, I mean, it's not. Yeah,
Okay,
it would be a bit weird, I think. I have done one or two. I did one for Alan Dershowitz.
Okay.
If they really need cheering up, but
Yeah.
and normally it's it's just it's a verse and a chorus, isn't it, really? So it's no one listens to the lyrics anyway, so
yeah.
I think just an uplifting song about learning, and you're a music teacher, so this is fantastic. You know
Yeah.
the obstacles young people have, and
Oh yeah. Especially getting kids to learn pitch. I mean, I have students, little kids, they don't well, they're not, I mean, really small kids, they have a good ear for pitch, but then when they get older and they don't have a lot of they don't do a lot of singing and stuff, from my experience, like I think they kind of lose it. Like they have it at first and then they lose it. It's weird because kids intuitively, I mean, they have a rhythm feeling for rhythm and for pitch, you know what I mean? I mean, it's not like, and so teaching them with the piano and having them listen to the different tones and saying, okay, you're not singing this tone, you're singing this tone. Can you hear that? And then they'll sing it again, and I'll play the same one that they're singing, and then they hear, okay, what I'm singing now is like the same tone as he's playing. And then they start checking it. They start getting what I'm doing, and then I'll go, okay, now listen to this one. It'll be one half tone down, and they'll be like, okay. And so there's definitely a way to teach kids how to, and then after time, they get better and better, and I'll just be able to play a note, and then they'll be able to just sing the note that I'm playing.
So they learn it and then they forget it. Well, they know it, but then they forget it.
Well, the forgetting, it's just I don't know if that's really how it is, but I mean, I can't imagine that you're born with, I mean, that you're not born with some sort of pitch deficit or something. You know what I mean? Like if you hear something, you should be able to, match it. I mean, I can't. I've never had a problem personally. Like, I hear something. It's a la la. Okay, it's easy.
Maybe it's like because little kids can swim underwater with hold their breath automatically, and then they lose that.
Like my son, he doesn't. It's weird. He doesn't like singing. I mean, he doesn't. But, if I ask him if I'm playing him something, hey, come on, sing. Let's sing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star." Let's sing something together. He'll eventually, he'll do it. Maybe like 10 seconds or for 15 seconds, and then he'll just not want to do it anymore. Maybe it's just some sort of phase or some sort of a thing. I don't know.
What age did you?
I hope he gets into it.
Yeah. How old were you when you began?
I don't know. I started listening to my mom's records when I was like 5 or 6.
And picking up an instrument was?
No. I picked up an instrument in 2012 is when I started playing guitar.
Okay. So same as me. When I was 19 when I started playing.
Oh, okay, cool. I mean, I played trumpet with my grandfather. He showed me trumpet when I was smaller than that, but I mean, I never really. Yeah, of course it's an instrument, but I didn't master it in any sort of way. Like I knew how to read notes a little bit, Yeah. Like like I knew like how I push down the fingers to get the tone that I want. But and in school I played trumpet a little bit, but like my first real instrument for me is like the guitar because I know the chords, I know how to play it now.
Mm.
And with the trumpet, it's like I don't know, it's just weird. They're single tones, and you can't sing with it.
No.
I needed something I could sing to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's never been the Louis Armstrong. I mean,
yeah,
but he kind of he just used the trumpet occasionally, didn't he?
yeah. I mean, I'm pretty good at trumpet. I have a nice clean pitch and stuff, and
Oh, you still do
I remember it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
My camera's sitting on top of my trumpet right now.
Oh, okay. Well,
Case.
it has a use.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty cool trumpet. It's like a dwarf trumpet. It's a little tiny miniature trumpet.
Do you use that at live shows or?
Unfortunately,
could be good when you're DJing to do like a trumpet solo over the top. Yeah.
I should practice more, but I can't. I'm not good enough for doing solos and stuff.
No, but
like
know, when you see a DJ on stage, you're always thinking that guy, he's not a musician. He's just playing other people's records. But you are actually a musician. So it would be good just to blow people's preconceived ideas away with a quick blast on your miniature trombone. Trumpet.
I can do a mean mouth trumpet,
That's
but yeah. No, it's not.
I do some whistling and I put it through an effect, and it sounds like a theremin or something like that. So,
actually, pretty good at whistling. I love whistling. I've never used it for songs though. I don't know why. Maybe I should start doing that.
Yeah, you should. I had this girl collaborating on Kai Mata from Bali, and one of her most popular songs is with her whistling. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's a really good song.
Well, the Scorpions is a good example.
Oh yeah, what did they do? Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Winds of Change.
Yeah, that's whistling. Of course it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me.
No worries.
Have you ever been to Italy in the south where I
am? You're in Italy?
Yeah.
Where in Italy?
Underneath the Amalfi Coast, in the Cilento.
I've toured Italy like 4 times already.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You probably never came to the south.
I've been all the way to Sicily like 3 times. I've been in Sicily, Enna, Palermo, Catania.
You ever play in Agropoli?
Yeah.
You played in Agropoli?
Yes, like probably twice.
In the garage there, in the old garage,
I can't. Oh man, I don't even know. I played so many shows in Italy, it's ridiculous. Like when I tour in Italy, I do like literally like 20 shows or 25 shows.
Which agent do you go with through?
Rochetta Booking. Rochetta. He's out of Catania. His name is Paolo Mai.
Rocket.
Rochetta, yeah. Rochetta or Rochetta, something like that.
Where did you play in Agropoli then? You don't remember? Or?
I don't remember. Like
Officina 72?
Yes. I played there. Okay. Yes, I played.
Oh, there you go. This is my hometown. That's where I am.
Nice.
Well, I mean, actually, I was living there before, and now I'm in Santa Maria, the next town up.
Oh, guys, I'm so sorry about that.
Hey.
No problem.
Do I need my earphones in?
I think you sound great, Rick. Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. It's I was just getting off another. It's just been a crazy morning. Okay, how you guys doing?
Good.
Great, thank you. Thanks so much for speaking to us.
Very welcome. My pleasure.
I mean, it's great. We can just reach out to someone like you, and you'd say yes. It's fantastic.
Well, I checked out some of your podcasts, Jack, and I was just like, oh, this is good. Very interesting concept. I thought it was really cool.
Thank you. Thanks very much. This is praise indeed coming from a maestro such as yourself.
You're very welcome.
I heard about you from the Chris. I had Chris Ryan was on my guest a few months ago.
I love Chris.
And so, yeah, you've won twice on his show. Yeah,
Chris is a dear friend and real thoughtful guy. We're the same age, and it's funny because he went to school at Colgate, and I went to Ithaca. We were there right at the same time, but didn't know each other. It's about 30 minutes away or so, but we have very similar backgrounds and stuff. And he's just what a great guy.
He's a fan of your channel too, of the songs. What makes this song great?
Yeah, I just love Chris. He's awesome.
Okay, brilliant. Well, this is Michael, who's a musician. He's in Germany.
Michael, pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
I was listening to you on Spotify a little while ago.
Oh,
sound great.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. I've you as well. Amazing.
Thank you.
I have to say, we're both very nervous about having to write a song to be critiqued by you. It's set the bar very high. So, but it's up to you. If it's not a good song, it's because you weren't inspiring.
Well, I hope I live up to a good song here, or hope I can contribute.
Well, because we were chatting before you came on about what to do the song about, and I was thinking, I mean, this might change throughout or maybe you have some ideas. Maybe you thought about it, but did you?
I'm thinking about it right now.
Okay. Well, the idea was about learning, because you talk a lot on your channel about your own struggles with learning, and rejection, and how you had learning difficulties as a child, and now you always say that these obstacles are hurdles. They make you reach higher. So more obstacles, more barriers. You wouldn't be where you are today if you had a smooth run in, would you?
Absolutely not. No, that's those were strong, motivating. I just coping with these things were things that motivated me. Although you don't really realize it at the time when you're a kid, but you find ways to cope. I mean, through me, it was through music, something that I was good in, unlike reading, and it gave me the confidence to to do other things, and it was something I was really passionate about. So I'm very lucky that not only that I found music, but that my parents were so supportive of it. That was a big thing for me.
Do you have like a personal motto that you live by? I was thinking that could be like a hook in the song.
My personal motto is the only truth is action.
All right, there we go. Just got a title.
People talk, but really you have to do things. If
Okay.
that's kind of I saw that on the refrigerator of one of my best friends when I went to visit him. When he was in college, he had that on his refrigerator, and every day he looked at that, and I was like, "What is that?" He goes, "That just makes me think about being motivated every day to do things, because you got to commit yourself to doing things, not just talking about things, actually doing them." I was like, "Wow, yeah, I'm down with that."
And you're doing it. I mean, you're banging out, because you had a podcast before. Because people think that with an overnight success like you, everyone wants to be an influencer these days, yeah. So they're thinking, "Oh, I'll look at Rick. I'll start a channel like that. I can do what he does." But what you see when you're on a channel is that, you really got these years of experience. You the real deal. So, it wasn't an overnight success. What other things did you try before? There was many things, and which also you were successful at. I don't want to say that those were.
Yeah, it's being successful on YouTube, for example, is it's just an incredible amount of work, really, just to it's one thing to have the ideas for videos, but then you have to actually make them, that's that's the tricky thing that I would say to my kids, well, the videos don't make themselves, right? And
how long does it take to do one?
It takes me probably about, it depends probably 8 to 12 hours or so, typically, depending on what it is.
Wow.
Occasionally I'll do one of the videos where I was talking about that I did recently where I called, Fortunes of Failure. That was a one-shot video, 15-minute talk with no edit. So that was all improv. So that took me 15 minutes, but typically it takes like, what makes this song great? That takes a full day, 12-hour day.
Because before I looked at some earlier ones and you're doing like a documentary piece. You had footage, you had a lot of editing, but now you're doing it all to camera. So was that a choice based on it's easier or it's better or both?
I just go through phases where I make certain types of videos for a while and then I change it up. I'm about to do some traveling, so I'll have more videos with footage and things like that. So I have a trip. I'm going to Nashville coming up, and then I'm going to LA in a couple weeks, and so I'll be doing remote videos that'll have that feel of some of it's been the pandemic, just having to make videos in the studio here all the time.
Yeah.
So.
And do you have because you did the early videos yourself, even just on an iPhone, no? And now do you have like a crew now? Or?
I have no crew. I have one assistant. I pretty much shoot and edit all the videos myself. My assistant will edit a little bit, but I pretty much edit all the stuff too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's impressive. Why is that? I mean, do you not feel like you're delegating it, you could do more things, or you like the process?
That's a good question. Okay. So when people ask me that, since I shoot in 4K, I have some videos that are 2 terabytes, just the session file. So how would you even send it to someone? You'd have to send somebody a hard drive just to edit it, right? Because they're just so massive. And then people just have a computer that can handle 2 terabytes of 4K video is, you just have to do this stuff yourself. Unfortunately, it's just not practical. Otherwise you're editing a lower quality. It's not like you can edit a lower quality version of it. Right. So if I send it to an editor, you can't have people. I mean, it's too complicated. So I just do it myself.
But do you think that's because you've learned how to do it now and you're so fast and you're at that intersection now where it's to teach someone else to do it the way that I like it would just be such hassle.
That's exactly it. Yeah. So editing video is just like editing audio. And I worked as a music producer for, 25 years or so, but 20 years in Pro Tools, and editing audio, even though I had an engineer and he would do a lot of the stuff, but I edited so much in Pro Tools. I would record so much that I'm so fast editing video that nobody could really, to find somebody that could edit as fast as because I'm making all the decisions right on the spot. And I just, and I,
Yeah.
So.
But you spoke in one video about how, you know how to use Pro Tools because a producer left you hanging and you were thrown in the deep end, another example of an obstacle you've overcome. So you think you learn all these skills? That's really important for people to learn?
Well, it was important for me to learn because I don't like being at the, I don't like having to rely on other people to do something. It's funny. So in my control room behind me, I have all this gear set up, right? I have my, mic preamps, things like that I use to record. And my assistant of 20 years, Ken, he only works about twice a month. He comes in when I'm making video shoots because I'm not producing anyone. And he has the patch bay set up a certain way. And sometimes I just cannot figure out, every time they update the DAWs, they'll update the operating system on Apple, then they'll have a DAW thing. And then I just can't pass signal through it. And it drives me insane. You guys both, I mean, look, you got your microphones in front of you, you know what it's like. And I just want to be able to plug in and have the stuff come up. And so it's kind of like that, where I don't want to be in anyone. I want to be able to do it myself when I'm ready and not say, oh, I have to get someone over here to help me. No, I'll just do it myself. So.
Yeah, I know. And one thing I wanted to ask about those videos is, where do you get the sound files when you're going through the songs?
It depends on what songs they are. A lot of times I get them from the artists themselves now, because my channels, people know the series really well. And a lot of them I've had for years. I'm 15 years or so. I got them from people back, and I have thousands and thousands of songs.
So they are floating around these.
Well, they're at least floating around, floating around here. Anyways, I'm constantly find hard drives. I have hundreds of hard drives, and I find hard drives. It's like, oh my God, there's like 50 songs on here or something, that I didn't know.
So how do you choose? Because you've done 100 of the what makes this song great. What is it? Because you find it on a hard drive, or you really want to do this song? Or
I try to vary the decades that I do things from. But my 101st episode was "Since You've Been Gone," the Kelly Clarkson song. And people that follow my channel, they a lot of times say, when I do pop stuff, they don't like it. But I always remind people, it's like, well, I'm also a producer. So when that series is "What Makes This Song Great?" ? It's not like Rick saying the song is great. It's like, why do I think people react to the song? And I always tell them that that's not an endorsement of the song, even though I think I like "Since You've Been Gone." But a lot of it's just to answer the question, what is it about the songs that hook people? What makes a song great? And sometimes there are very little things in there that grab your ear that make you want to listen to it over and over. That may have nothing to do with the vocal or lyric. So
it's a way to learn, isn't it? Because you just by putting your little finger on another chord just before you go to the chorus, as you say, whatever genre of music you're in, you can use that.
That's right.
So
yeah. So it's I also like to kind of demystify how songs are put together, because I think that most people never experience a multi-track song, that songs are composed. Most songs are composed of many, many tracks. And I think it's still fascinating for me. And I've done it for, half my life I've been producing, and I still love hearing these tracks soloed. If it's a Led Zeppelin song or a Kelly Clarkson song or a, Deftones song or whatever it is, I love hearing kind of how the elements are put together.
When I first did the first episode of this podcast, I sent it to a friend, and because I'm like you, I'm so impressed by what the producers come up with, as I'm just a songwriter. So, and I want to show everyone all the hidden tracks in the song, because when the music's playing all together, you don't hear that this little mandolin part that's there. And I wanted to just do this 5-minute segue before I played the song, dissecting all the parts, and now we put in the guitar, and just exactly what you did.
Yeah.
But people said after an hour's conversation, they just really wanted to hear the song.
Well, people like me want to hear I want to hear those kind of things, Jack. And it's like people that if it's their favorite band and stuff, like when I do What Makes This Song Great, I'm always hitting on somebody's favorite band, So, and usually it's a lot of people's favorite band. And to hear, that it's amazing to hear a song that you've heard for 30 years or 20 years or 10 years, and then you solo the bass or you solo the drums. Wait, is that what they're doing?
Yeah. Have you seen Song Exploder? Obviously you have, but
yeah.
Because they started as a podcast, you're a YouTube channel, and now they've gone to a Netflix TV show. So they do what you do, but they interview the band and they play back the tracks of the song to the musicians that wrote it, probably in one day when they were blind drunk, or that was a half day. We thought that was just going to be an album track. Didn't realize it's turned into a worldwide hit. So do you think you could progress in that direction? Or are we going to see you on Netflix?
We'll see. Maybe.
I mean, you get to speak to people like Peter Frampton and Luke Ather, and you're moving in that direction, though, and you get to speak to your heroes. So I think that's logical.
Yeah. Well, it was nice having Peter on the episode. My thing is kind of based around me breaking down the songs and playing the parts and everything. And it's more, my series is, based around kind of the actual, the elements of breaking down the songs, you know, and talking about them in really specific detail. So,
because you're a music teacher.
Yeah. And a producer. So it's not just the song and you know, Peter Frampton, even though he was in the video, he didn't really react to any of the music or anything. I played his guitar solo. I mean, he only played the guitar solos once because he was improvising. So I've been playing those guitar solos for 40 years, you know. You know, he's like, you know, the solos better than I do. I said, well, you improvised them.
And you're not doing always the song is great, but you've been also reviewing the top 10 on Spotify.
Yeah.
And saying many times why they're not so great.
Yeah.
Which do you enjoy more?
Well, that's fun because I don't make up the list. It's already there.
Yeah.
I love reading the comments because people get oh my God, it doesn't matter what. I did top 10 metal songs a couple weeks ago. I've done top 10 pop songs a few times. I did top 10 rock songs, and they just trash everything. It's so funny. Oh my God. But I'm going to make a video. I'm thinking about making a video where I kind of gather the type comments, and then I impersonate the people that watch the channel, they would typically say to trash the song. There's so many great, oh my God, there's some.
Do you have time to read those? You get thousands and thousands of comments.
Yeah, but when the thing first comes out, I'll go and I'll read the comments, and I almost never respond to anything. But I just crack up. And these videos that are where I know people are going to hate the stuff, those are the ones that I read, like the top 10 Spotify thing. So, oh my God. I did this one on metal bands, and some guy wrote, or I don't know who it was, a guy or woman, said, guys that think this is metal are guys that close the fridge door with their hips. It's harder than this, something like that. Oh my God. It was the funniest. I'm not doing it justice. It was the funniest comment I had ever read.
That's got to be a fridge magnet.
Yes, exactly. And it just
you got to do merchandise.
Right. Exactly.
Merchandise are the best comments.
Exactly. And it amazes me how funny some of these people are. Oh my God, just brilliant. So.
No, you can tell you're having a good time. When you're watching those, it feels like, well, you're surprised because you haven't dissected the songs first, and then you discover it's just these 4 chords.
Right.
And your disappointment on your face is, yeah.
Well, you never know. You don't know what to expect. You know, some people are like, oh, Rick must be hearing the songs like with the metal thing, because they had all these different tunings. If it's on the metal playlist, since they have all these drop things, my assistant goes through, he'll tune a different guitar for the thing. He'll just hand it to me. But the songs are so simple. It's just like, and people are like, oh, you know, I can't believe you can figure these songs out so fast. It's like, what are you talking about? They're like 4 chords. I mean, like, how can you, you know, they're just like, it's so simple. Not like I'm figuring out, you know, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a Paul Simon song or something, you know, like that has really, it's not Bridge Over Troubled Water or anything like that.
Because as a songwriter myself, you know, I struggle with the same 4 chords and finding new ones. And I find your channel inspiring and disheartening at the same time. So I'm inspired when I see these low barriers to entry, that there's 9 people writing a song and they use 3 chords or 4 chords. It's like I don't really need to. And you listen to the lyrics and they're just like they wrote. We've been working in the studio for 2 weeks now. I think we better just put some lyrics down quickly, by the way, at the end of it.
Right.
And but then at the same time, you're pushing us to raise the bar. Seeing how delighted you are with all these complex chords, and so where should we be in the middle here? What?
I don't know. But I'll tell you, it's one thing I noticed just in the pop charts over from 2 months ago till now is that in the top 10, there was only one song with that trap hi-hat, the trap beat hi-hat that's been in pop music from, 808 sound. That's surprise. Trends are moving really quickly. I think that maybe something's going to change in music in a positive way. I don't know, but by making these videos myself and listening to making videos on the charts of different genres of music, I'm going to do indie rock and some other genres coming up too. But it gives me an idea of where I think music is going in the future and stuff. So, and I think there's some real change coming finally.
Okay, that's good. Because we struggle as artists, because we have to, I don't know how it is for Michael, but when we pitch to playlists, and those, if you have a cafe lounge acoustic song, you have a huge array of options regarding playlisting. And if you're doing something a little bit weird, you haven't got all these playlist options. So this sort of homogenization of music is the rush to the center now. So, I mean, it's pretty distressing.
Yeah. People, for example, on the metal playlist were shocked at only 3 of the 10 songs were metal. That was like the predominant thing in the comments. And that particular playlist is actually made by Spotify. Now, we really don't know, how the playlists are aggregated. I mean, how do you, unless you know somebody at Spotify, which I don't. But I think you're right that things are really homogenized because of this exact thing. People want to get playlisted. Is that the term? Is that a verb or something?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big thing, big industry.
Yeah.
Spotify's basically pay to play.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, this is, I think also making these videos, these have been kind of fun because it puts the spotlight on Spotify. I mean, I have a unique position with a channel with a lot of followers, and people can kind of see. Most people don't look at what are on these charts, and it shining a light on is like, why is that on the charts and stuff? And it kind of maybe it puts a little pressure on them, and a lot of the stuff is just based on what people what people click on and stuff. So it's,
So do you think you'd be
people actually pay to get on these things, Jack? Is that true? Or
yeah, I mean, playlist pitching is a big thing. Yeah, you have to get out there. Yeah, have you ever done it, Michael?
My label does it for me. I don't mess with it.
Yeah.
Have you? Is it work though? I mean, it does.
I had to change up my strategy of how I'm writing songs. Like that did it for me. Like he was always pitching me on playlists, but what actually worked is producing music that people want to actually hear, referencing a little bit, getting inspired by other artists who are at the top of their game, doing that kind of music. Then playlists, or you getting pitched to playlists is prone to getting placed more if you're making music that's already at the same level as what's being played on the playlist, basically.
Yeah, I get it a lot of times. I love the sound, but not quite right not right for my playlist, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. It's tricky, yeah.
But do you think you'd be a better producer now, Rick, because you've studied all this? Now you're studying all these songs. That what's happening now? Do you think if somebody comes to you and says, "Get me in the top in metal," you now exactly know how to do it?
I'm the wrong guy.
Yeah. All right, another genre.
I know. I mean, I produce metal bands. Honestly, I probably did more metal than anything. I tell people that I produced almost predominantly metal bands because at the time I was producing, that's what was really big in the, 1999 to 2016. I mean, I did a lot of singer-songwriters. I did many different genres of music, but a lot of metal bands. Would the charts, I don't know. That's a very difficult question to answer because I'm so informed by what social media can do for an artist that you can just build a channel independently. My channel, I didn't pay anybody at YouTube anything to get subscribers. And it's the same kind of thing, building a following, there's people that have music YouTube channels that are artists that become huge pop stars and stuff through YouTube, for example. So there's many ways to do this nowadays. The thing with social media is that there's no barrier to entry really. And the marketplace kind of decides who if people watch your videos, then you get more followers and you get more views, things like that. So same thing can happen for music artists. So, I always tell people, build your own following away from these things and don't worry about getting playlisted on Spotify. Cause there's so many other places like YouTube, that you can push your music. Or, I mean, most record labels look at TikTok and they find their songs, things that go viral there, but it's still all data driven. That's the drag of the whole thing. I mean, most of the people, if it was data driven, bands like Nirvana never would have gotten signed. They sold 46,000 copies of Bleach. Now, why would they have gotten signed to a record deal and put out on a major label record? I mean, they never would have gotten to make that record if they were, that was their A&R guy that signed them. Gary Gersh said, okay, this band is great. I believe in this. They made the record, and next thing you know, they were the biggest band of their generation. So,
yeah, you talk about needing 4 albums. All bands need about 4. Used to have about the 4th album was the album.
Yeah, Nirvana's second album was the album for them, but rarely the first album.
But do you think nowadays it's like catch-22, like a record company won't sign you until you've proven that you've got all the numbers and you're successful? But when you do that, you don't actually need the record company.
Exactly. That's it. Record companies nowadays, once you're able to be on a major label record, you don't need them.
Yeah.
So, although they do provide there is a barrier to entry on Spotify and Apple Music. If you're on a major label, that's how you get on these things, really. That's how you get a high placement on them. You have to be on a major label for the most, but you don't have to be, but it's pretty important.
And for the collaborations too. As well.
Yeah.
Well, I'm working with Michael today, so yeah, it's my golden ticket. He's doing really well. So, but do you have any other questions, Michael? I'm really blocking you out of this. Sorry about that. Because Michael's a music teacher as well.
Yeah, since we're on the whole spiel about producing, have you ever messed with production music?
I'm not sure what you mean by production.
You know what it is? It's like producing music for major labels for the sole purpose of like TV
You
and
mean like library music?
commercials and stuff like that. Yeah, like
I
catalog
have
library
some of
music.
my
Yeah.
a couple of my best friends do that a lot. That's a I mean, I'm very familiar with it, but yeah.
Okay.
But I've never created music for anything like that. I've never been asked to. Nothing ever that I ever pursued.
I didn't realize what such an industry music is until I was listening to you speaking about, 9 people, right? 9 people, or was it 30 people on one song?
30 people.
30 songs.
I think that's
30.
record.
Did they get the cleaner in there as well?
Exactly. Write a word, get a third. Write a word, get a 30th.
Because is that happening? Because, and you also talk about this on your channel, that a great trick nowadays is to copy exactly a song that's come out before. And if you get caught with your hands in the cookie jar, you just you put their name on the credits.
That's right. You just add them and cut them in on it.
Is there no other penalty fee, or you don't get fined or anything? Or
well, they can be sued for all the money the song makes, but now people seem to find it out really fast. And they don't care. The songwriters don't care. If you go through and you find some of the there are a few songs that this has happened to just over the past year. And there's the same songwriter. If you go through the group of songs, I'm not going to name who it is, but there's the same songwriters associated with 3 or 4 of these songs that I can think of. It's like, well, maybe that's the person doing it.
Ed Sheeran was got into trouble quite a few times as well.
Yeah, but it's interesting now. There's a whole new thing that's going on where a lot of songwriters are banding together to prevent the labels from coercing or artists from coercing them into giving them publishing. This is something somebody was talking to me about yesterday, or I was reading about yesterday, which has been going on since the beginning of time, basically, where the article I was reading, Dolly Parton was saying that Elvis was going to cut her song, I Will Always Love You. And he was going to go in and cut it. And then his manager, Colonel Tom Parker, said, oh, by the way, Elvis gets whatever, 50% of the song. And she was horrified. She said, no, didn't agree to it. And it crushed her that thought she was going to have Elvis sing one of her songs, which ended up becoming one of the biggest songs ever. But apparently that was the common thing for Elvis, according to this article, that Elvis got a piece of publishing. I don't know of everything, but
nowadays it is, isn't it? I mean, all the
a lot of big artists, a good way to tell is you go to their first record, see if they got any songwriting credits. And if they didn't, and then this next record, and the first record was big, and the next record, they're co-writing on every song. It gives you an idea. Well, how come they didn't write anything on the first record?
Yeah, all these tricks about, the year, you look at the year people were born, and if they know, you really got because you've been in the business for so long, you know all the tricks of the trade.
Well, it just seems like these things just seem like logic to me. Like, well, if you're a songwriter, why didn't you write any of the songs on your first record? Why are they all you had songwriters? Why are you a co-writer on every song on the second record? Well, maybe because you're a big star and your manager demanded publishing and you basically extort people. I won't cut the track. And this has been going on forever. I won't cut the track unless you include me in the publishing. Yeah, I need it 30% or whatever.
A lot of artists sign with publishers because they think they're going to get in movies or they're going to use it in a commercial on TV. Is that the only reason to sign with a publisher? Is it worth it today?
Well, historically, publishers have provided people with income while they're writing songs. That's one of the reasons that they do it. Like in Nashville, for example, songwriters that sign deals, they'll give you a stipend per month. So let's say that your publishing deal, they'll pay you $3,000 a month or something, and you use it to pay your rent and to pay your bills. And it'll help you so that you can spend 5 days a week writing songs. So sometimes people do that. they sign publishing deals for that reason. It's not always about pitching songs. It's about investing in the songwriters so that they can have time to create things. So
right.
So yeah, so there's many different things. I've had a publishing deal on and off since 1992, and I can count on one hand the amount of times that people have actually pitched songs and gotten them covered by people. Typically, all the songs I've ever gotten on records are ones that I've written with people that I've produced.
So not worth it.
I'm not sure if it's worth it or not. It really depends.
Okay.
I can't make a blanket statement about publishing. Publishing can be very worth it. It's hard to collect. Yeah, your there's certain things publishers can do for you. There are whether they do them or not. That's another question.
So these artists now these big names selling their publishing, for Dylan for 400 million apparently, and all these other artists. You talked about on your channel that they were doing it. Yeah, you shouldn't really be investing in old artists, but why when you're 80 years old, what do you need $400 million for?
Well, so I had some people reach out to me after I made the video, and people that are knowledgeable about publishing said that, okay, there could be a number of reasons, not anybody that has any knowledge, but let's say, the songwriting thing can be really complicated. And Bob Dylan has 6 kids. Paul Simon has 4 kids, I think, and these things get passed down to whoever they assign them to, I guess. And, I think that the idea is to let the publishers kind of deal with the catalogs. You get the lump sum of money, and then you can it's easier to split up amongst your heirs. Maybe that's the calculation that they do, and you can't take it with you, So
I'm gonna ask it. I'll wait till I get one of them on the show then, and to get a proper answer. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would only be guessing if I was to but and the other thing is there's tax reasons why I had some accountants that called me and they said, if you take the lump sum now, you pay capital gains on it, which is 20 some odd percent, versus taking it over time, paying 36% a year on the money. So I don't know, who knows, but it tends to be the simplest answer, Jack, is like that it's easier to split the stuff up amongst their kids or whatever afterwards.
But isn't it, you've got Taylor Swift, fighting with all her, slave, and then on the next year, it's a crazy business though.
It's a crazy business. It is.
All right. Well, I've got you on. I also want some tips for songwriting and music, because one of the things I'm struggling with at the moment is vocal takes. They take a long time, and I've never had any training for, like, when I have to double track vocals and to get it perfect. It takes a long time. Is that just the way it is? I mean, obviously it's stupid.
I don't like perfect double tracks. So I think that they need to be kind of sloppy to be good.
Seriously?
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. All the Beatles ones were not, together. And to me, when I would produce something and they double track a vocal, they'll be like, oh, that's way too tight. You got to make it loose.
Really?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, thanks, Rick.
I like it where you can hear it's a real double. If it sounds too close, I think it loses the effect.
Okay. And what about...
I always say don't make it perfect, Jack.
Oh, thanks, Rick. Thanks. And what about doing these harmonies? Because you talked about songs like Sounds Like Silence, and so one of them's going up and one's going down, one's staying flat. Now, when I try because I come up with a melody, I've got the main melody. Now, people say, oh, you have a really nice harmony that's singing a different melody over the same vocal. Now that's, or no, what also was like a third up or third down. Like, that is so difficult. How do I do that?
Well, you find out what notes of the chord, the melody notes are. So if you're on a C, if you have a C chord,
Yeah.
C major chord has 3 notes, C, E, and G. If you're singing E, your 2 harmony choices are G and C, the 2 remaining notes of the chord.
I got that, but it's still difficult.
It's difficult. Yeah. You have to, unless you have a really good ear for it. You don't necessarily have to follow rules. Most people make up harmonies kind of on the fly and will do unusual ones. Simon and Garfunkel had very unusual voice leading in their harmonies. Whereas so did the Beatles in certain songs too.
So you think your accidents and your mistakes can lead to nice things?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's all about experimenting, man.
Okay. Michael, you have any songwriting questions yet? We have the master on?
Yeah, I wanted to ask about what's your workflow look like when you're writing songs? You write a song with a bass or a guitar or with no instrument?
Typically, either guitar or piano usually. So I'll just come up with a melody and chord progression first, usually, like most people do. I'd say that 99% of songs are written that way, where there's a chord progression and then they write a melody to it, then they fit the lyrics in. I'd say, I remember reading one time the Beatles, out of their entire catalog, only one song had the lyrics written first, and that was Across the Universe. John Lennon had the lyrics done first, but every other song, they had the melody and chord progression, and then they fit lyrics to the melody. So I'd say almost every person I've ever worked with, that's the way that they do it.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Typically they'll have a hook.
Hmm.
When I wrote in Nashville with all the top Nashville songwriters back in 2014, I went there for about, 4 or 5 months, and because I had a #1 country song. And so they put me with all these big time songwriters. And the first thing they do is they open up their laptops and they'd say, okay, what titles do you have? And I'd come with some track, some finished track. And they would read the song titles out and be like, oh, that sounds like a good one. Let's work on that.
Right. Something like the only truth is action. Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever it would be. And then you try and write the verses around it and make it make sense and all that. So.
And that's a real industry now. I mean, those guys that you jump from room to room with, it's like an office block or.
Literally.
Wow.
You'd literally be in these offices. They'd have, so it's Sony or Warner Chappell you go in their building and they'll have maybe, 40 writer rooms across 2 floors, something like that, 50. And there'd be people in every room, and they'd have an electric keyboard in the room, a couch and a couple chairs and a table. And everybody would have acoustic guitars and have a capo on the first fret. Everybody's guitar would be tuned down to E flat, and they'd have a capo on the first fret in case you needed to change the key. If you're writing a song for a female vocalist or something, and that's what you do. You sit around and you just kind of experiment. It's fun. You always be 3 people co-writes back then. I don't know if they're still doing that. I don't know if they're doing 3, but I was like, why do you guys do 3? Nobody could ever answer it. Why it was always 3 people. Because 3 is better than 2. And they would typically be for people from different publishing companies too. So like I was a Sony writer and I'd write with a, Warner Chappell writer and maybe a writer from a third publishing company or something. You'd have a better chance of getting a song placed if you had different publishers involved.
Wow.
Right. I was like, good, that makes sense actually.
Insights into the business, eh? It's Nashville.
Yeah, but ultimately I only did that for a few months. It was oh my God, the songwriters were fantastic, but for me, it was just too formulaic. It was the era was the bro country era. And every song was 1, 4, 5, and 6. 4, 1, 5, 6, 4, 1, 6, 5. It was just the same thing over. Nobody thought, I mean, it was just unbelievable. Every song sounded the same. And those songwriters didn't like it either. They didn't like to, they wanted to use other chords, but they knew that they wouldn't pick them for singles because the people at the publishing companies that were pitching the songs, the only songs they ever liked had that same 4 chords.
But country always has great lyrics. I mean, they have a subject and, you know.
Oh my God, these guys were amazing lyricists. The people that were, so good.
Well, with Podsongs, it's all about the lyrics. So, you know, we look for that hook, this subject about what to write about. And with you, I think we should just, before you leave us, is to go back to that, what this song is about. And I think, you know, because your channel started with Dylan, your son, maybe you could just talk a bit about that, how in your app Neural, and how, because is it because you struggle with learning that you created this super wonderkind is word we used earlier.
The
thing with Dylan was never anything that I intentionally did. I mean, it just happened to work out. You know, like you're going to play music for your kids, and I just didn't want to play, you know, little kid songs for them.
Bro country or
bro country. I mean, who wants to listen to little kids songs? So Baby Shark and all these things. And I don't know why people play little kids songs for little kids. Why don't they play, you know, Bach, Beethoven, or John Coltrane?
Yeah.
Well, it's like, that's what I'll do. And I did. And it's good for their brains.
So where is he now? I mean, I've seen the video where he's learning Chinese and German and can remember pi up to 500. And that was a few years ago. So where is he now? How old is he now?
He's 13 now. He's in 7th grade. He's a teenager. And he likes to do everything teenagers like to: play video games, hang out with his friends, play basketball, you know.
And he's still got all the neurons firing, like.
Yeah, I mean, his ear is as good as his ever was. He's just not, music's not interesting to him. You know, it's you know, it's not for everyone. It doesn't occupy the same place in society for kids that it did when we were growing up, or when I was growing up. I'm older than you guys, way older. But and typically kids don't really get into music till they're about 13, 14 anyways, I find. Because I didn't really I started playing guitar at 13. That's typically when kids actually start getting interested in their own music. So so it's not weird. I mean, so right now he might, who knows, he might really get into music now. So, but I don't push stuff like that with the kids, with any of my kids. You know, if they want to get into it, they will.
But he finds learning so easy now. I mean, he's learning languages and picking up things at school like faster than everyone else still.
He does okay. He's a smart kid. He's as tall as I am now. He's it's weird. He's got a lower voice than I do. It's strange. I called his cell phone yesterday and he has this little kid voice. And I was like, wait, what is this? And his voice, hey, what's going on? That's how he talks. And I was like, what? My friends that haven't seen him in a long time is like, Dylan's voice is lower than yours.
He's a baritone.
Yes. I mean, he's as tall as I am. He's going to be way taller than me. Funny.
I had this singing teacher because Dylan had a very high voice now when the early videos, and the baritones go high when they're young, and then when everything drops, they drop.
Yeah. So, yeah, Dylan's a bass right now, pretty much.
That's nice.
It's funny, but it's funny to hear. I'm getting used to it, but yeah, I mean, he's growing.
And are you still working with the Neural app?
I'm not presently, no. It's still out there. I'm peripherally involved with it, but not on a day-to-day basis.
And did it work as dramatically with other kids? Do you have any other?
It's hard to since I'm not really involved in the day-to-day part of it or anything like that. I don't know who the users are or anything, so it's really hard to tell. You can't. It's hard to know. I've had people say to me that they've used it in their kids, that it was incredibly helpful to their kids. But it's, you don't track, you're not tracking the people. You don't know what their, how their kids perform or anything. So it's, unless people make videos on it, how would you ever know? It's the same thing with Dylan. I mean, I didn't know, I didn't even know he had perfect pitch. I stumbled on it one day. I realized it just occurred to me that he did. But it wasn't until he was 3 years old that I was like, wait a minute. That's weird. He can sing these songs exactly in the right key. And then I figured out, oh my God, he's got perfect pitch.
I got a question. Because in the video he talks, he says the, what key they're in. How did he learn that? I mean, he had to learn that first, right? What note is what key? Like it's a D or a D sharp. I mean, how did he learn that?
So when I figured out that he had perfect pitch, I was driving the car and I was like, Dylan, sing Star Wars theme. He's like, what do you mean? I said, just think of it in your head and sing it. And he sings it. And I was like, I think that's in the right key. And I put it on my car. It's like, what are the chances? Starts on a big B flat major chord. He sings the note B flat. I was like, sing the Superman theme. We had just been listening to John Williams soundtracks. And he's like, ba, 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 ba. I was like, oh, that's starts on the note G. Right. And and I was like, that's in the right key. And then I asked him a third song. Well, there's no way you're going to get 3 different songs that are in 3 different keys right unless you have perfect pitch. And he was dead on with the thing. So I drove back home, went to the piano, I play the note B flat, and he goes, Star Wars, instantly. I hit G, he goes, Superman. I hit C, he goes, the Excavator song. And I said, okay, Dylan, here's the deal. Anytime you hear that Star Wars note, it's called B flat. Okay. And the G note or the Superman note's called G. Okay. And the Excavator song is called C. Okay. And this note's C sharp. This is D. This is E flat. This is E. And he just knew it then. That was it. Took me about 5 minutes to teach him the names of the notes. He already had perfect pitch. It just was the figuring out what the labels were and just memorizing it.
And did it work for your other 2 children who came after him?
I never did it. I didn't do any of the, my daughter Lennon, by the time that I figured out Dylan had perfect pitch, was already 2 years old. And we didn't do anything because I had no idea that any of this
incredible.
Stuff. Yeah. Never even occurred to me. So we didn't really do it with the girls or anything. They don't have perfect pitch.
Wow.
So, and I have 18 nieces and nephews. None of them have perfect pitch. So what are the,
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely that. I was just so inspired. I mean, that video was incredible. And I mean, we all know classical music's good for children, but we didn't realize it gets incredible results like that.
Well, you have to do it, do it a lot. And it's really particularly advanced music that it's not just any classical music. Right? I found that the stuff I played Dylan was very, very harmonically and melodically complex and rhythmically complex.
What gave you the idea though? Why?
Well, if you're going to make a playlist for a baby, play him cool music. I played him stuff that I like.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that was it. It wasn't anything like, I'm going to create a super genius or something like that. It was just like, I'll play him stuff that I would listen to.
Yeah. If I was in the womb.
Yeah.
So it won't work on us. You have to. It's during the specific phase of baby development. Yeah, where it's too late for us.
I believe it is. I believe it's in
Yeah.
the first 2 years of a baby's life that it works. So, that's when they're developing their language. They say that you can learn perfect pitch up till age 6, which is really the time when you're developing your language fluency. And if you think about it, what do they call your language that you learn as a baby? They call it your native language, right?
Yeah.
When you learn it as an adult, for some reason, they call it a foreign language, right? Well, native music fluency is perfect pitch. You learn it as a baby. People that speak Mandarin have a 30% higher incidence of perfect pitch than people that speak non-tonal, because it's a tonal language. And the pitch is very important to the language. So why would people have a higher incidence of perfect pitch of people that speak languages that are dependent on tones, like Vietnamese and Mandarin? Well, maybe because when they're learning to speak those tones, first of all, maybe the parents have perfect pitch and they're speaking perfect tones. Every time they sing it, they speak an exact tone that's an actual pitch. And the kids just internalize that. So maybe it gets passed down that particular way.
So do you think the Chinese have better pitch then?
Well, the studies I've read, they say that Mandarin speakers have a 30% higher incidence of perfect pitch. Now, in China, people, kids, many kids study the piano early on, or the violin. It's very common. And, my kids all went through my 2 girls are in a language immersion school and Dylan that they do Chinese every other day. So I'm very familiar with, I wouldn't say I'm very familiar with the Chinese language, but I'm, half the faculty are Chinese, and I've talked to them a lot about this. And they talk a lot about how important music is in their upbringing, that the parents expect a lot of the parents expected them to play. They all played. Almost everybody I knew on the faculty that was Chinese played either the violin or the piano, and they started when they were 4, and the parents had made them practice. And that's just so maybe it's that. Maybe that maybe they have a predisposition because the tonal language, plus they get introduced to notes early on in that window, and they learn the labeling. Because that's the other thing. It's like Dylan had perfect pitch, but you don't really have perfect pitch until you have the labeling part of it. So labeling is like, what note is this called? And maybe you can only learn that up until you're 6 years old or so. But at that point, it's just memorization, because every time he hears a pitch, he says every pitch sounds completely different. So if every pitch sounds different, then it's easy to label them. Green, blue, orange, red.
Does he see in colors or hear in colors? No. Or no, it's not. It's a different thing.
But I'm just saying that that it's like that.
Well, I'm inspired to have a kid just because of watching Dylan. So if it does work out, I'll use the app and I'll let you know if I get any results. All right, brilliant. Well, this has been amazing. Thanks so much for the time. Do you have any questions, Michael, at the end there?
No, not really.
Work on a song.
Yeah, let's do it.
So how do you work on the song here, Jack? What do you do?
Well, we write separately and then share our ideas, and then come up with, maybe use the middle of mine or the lyrics from his, and just sort of a collaboratory like that. And then Michael is also a producer. He'll sing it and produce it, and then maybe I'll add some instruments as well.
You'll send it around to each other a bunch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm having different guests for different shows, different guest musicians for different shows. So could be we've got a classical violinist coming on another show, or a rock band. So it's very diverse. So
Cool. Awesome. All right.
all right, Rick, thanks very much.
Thanks, Rick.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you both.
Pleasure. Take care. So you have any inspiration?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely come up with a good song.
Yeah. We need to think of an angle, like what that lyrical twist.
Well, you said learning.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, because we were talking about kids.
Great idea. Children's song.
Yeah.
That's with many complex notes.
Yeah.
Just gonna leave you to... I think it's best not to always not overthink these things. So just go away and see what comes, and then I'll do the same. But whenever I say, "Oh, it has to be an Irish children's ballad," then I really struggle. So just go with the flow and see what happens. Yeah.
I mean, we're not like writing a children's song or anything, right?
No, definitely not.
Okay, with the idea.
If we can, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good place to start. But maybe inspiration strikes in another way.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, I think definitely something we discussed. So it could be the state of the music industry and also songwriting. And it was a great discussion. He's a great guy. So
Yeah.
Can't believe how he's just like.
I
mean, that video of Dylan was just incredible, and it's just like something he did in the. We didn't really do it again. We just did the once Wunderkind.
Yeah. I was actually when you asked me if I actually had like 100 more questions, but I didn't want to. It's like when you stop asking questions, like like I have a huge list that I made. I had it on the screen. I was thinking like I could just start asking him all these questions, but when do I stop asking questions? Because I mean, there's so much I wanted to know, but
sorry, I kind of steamroller there, but
it's all good. It's all good.
Okay, well, thanks, Michael. You've been great to have on the show.
Yeah, it was a great time.
So let's make a hit then.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Have a great evening.
Billboard charts, here we come.
Billboard charts.
Yeah.
If Rick promotes it, it's 2 million subscribers. So.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't think he will. You never know. All right, mate. Catch you later. Hey, talk by email.
All right. Cheers.
Bye-bye. With perfect pitch and linguistic abilities, mathematical mind, Woken latent capabilities, Cos Dylan heard. Sounds of such complexity that his mind grew. Out of sheer necessity, processing power, stimulation made. The power of music, the science of sound, firing neurons are up into ground. The power of music, the science of sound, untying potential that's otherwise bound. The science of sound, the science of sound. The sun spoke the word, the earth came into existence, and we all flow down the path of least resistance. Our ideas have traction, now we know the truth is action. The power of music, the science of sound, firing neurons are running to ground. The power of music, the science of sound, Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show and the song. If you want to hear the song again, it's available on all music streaming services or for a $1 download from podsongs.com. You can also subscribe there for our newsletter, for all other news and updates. A big thanks to our musical production team here in Italy, Maurizio Sanecola, Massimino Vozza, and Luigi Falcione, and my researcher, Dori Verbo. Please help us by sending this episode to your friends, sharing it on social media, and reviewing it wherever you can. I also have another show to listen to. It's called The Mystic Cast, and it's about spirituality, UFOs, mysticism, the occult, and the Etheria Society, the teachings of which led me to start this project, serving the servers, helping those who help others. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a great day.